So some of you guys wanted to see Weddle again, the NFL player guessing game based off of Wordle. I did one video on this, and my big mistake was kind of ignoring the numbers. I don't know why I did that, but I just kind of didn't even look at them. I just kind of ignored them. So I'm going to really try and not do that this time. And hopefully this is a video I do over the course of a few days so we get more than just the two that you get from easy mode, which is offense only, and then hard mode, which is anything. If you don't know how this game works, it's pretty easy. This is only my second time playing, but you get the hang of it pretty quickly. In the division column, if you get yellow on a guess, it represents the correct conference, but not the correct division. In the height, age, and weight, yellow represents that the number is within 2 of the correct number. And then green, of course, you're correct. On hard mode, yellow is the correct side of the ball. And then it feels like the rest applies as well. So first we're going to do offense. Any offensive player. I'll pick the AFC South, and I'll pick Brandon Cooks, wide receiver of the Houston Texans. Now, I think there's a better way to do this, which is picking a player at like a certain age group to get a better idea of the range. So if you pick someone that's like 25, you can get a real sense of if they're young. And if you pick someone that's like 30 plus, you can get a good idea of whether they're significantly older. Maybe like 31 would be a good bet. But we know the number is less than 13, but within 2. So this player wears number 11 or 12. We know he's bigger than 5'10", less than 28 years old, and is not in the AFC South, but it's the correct conference. So it's an AFC receiver who is bigger than 5'10", will likely wear number, I believe, 11 or 12, and is younger than 28, which is pretty young. So let's think about the options. So we have the AFC East. It could be, is N'Keal Harry? I think he wears number 1. So N'Keal Harry is an option here, bigger than 5'10". He fits the bill. That's definitely a guess we could throw out. For the Jets, we have, I mean, it could be Denzel Mims, I guess. Let's just throw out N'Keal Harry because I thought of it. And he does apply, and he's much bigger than 5'10". Okay, very interesting. So it's an AFC receiver in either the West or the North that is 6'4", is younger than 24, and is higher than number 1, which I think is like fairly obvious. So this one at this point should be pretty easy to figure out. Let's go by each division. AFC North, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. Jamar Chase is not 6'4". Is it T. Higgins? What number does T. Higgins wear? That's the problem. I think T. Higgins is 6'4". For the Steelers, Chase Claypool could be 6'4". He might also be 6'3", though. Chase Claypool, I think, wears number 11. I'm fine, or maybe, I think he's around that at least. Let's go Chase Claypool. And that's the correct answer. Got it in 3. So I did a better job of doing the numbers here, and the age made sense, the height made sense. But some of these are pretty difficult, but this is a good one that we got pretty quickly. And as you guys can see, yeah, this is only my 3rd time playing. Let's go ahead and switch to hard mode, where it's any player, not just offense, and see how well we do. Okay, hard mode is enabled. That was an AFC North player. Let's do an NFC South player. Let's start, let's see, we have Bucks, Panthers. Let's do my guy, Brian Burns. He's pretty young as well, so this is going to give us a pretty good idea. And we know he is 23. So this would be yellow if it was the right side of the ball, right? Yeah, so it's not a defensive player, but he is 23. He is lower than 6'5", or shorter than 6'5", in the NFC on offense or special teams. So let's think about this. I mean, we can kind of just throw at any 23-year-old. Now, I guess Xavier McKinney, last time, is he 22? Or I think he's 23. I guess Xavier McKinney on my path to Antoine Winfield Jr., but he would definitely apply for this. Okay, so this gives us some information. I guess with a defensive player. See, I always know it's going to be something I forget. It's a defensive player, man. But we know it's not the NFC East. We at least gain information. It's probably going to be a quarterback or a receiver. Could be a running back still. But taller than 6 foot, that's pretty rare for a running back. It does happen. And it's not super rare, but there are a lot of running backs who are like 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot. But not a ton that are 6'1" and above, although, again, it does happen. Still 23 years old. Offense. I got to remember offense. I know I'm going to forget something. NFC West or NFC North. Let's go NFC West. So we have the 49ers. Could be Debo. Is he 23? He's going to be real close. DK Metcalf is probably going to be 24 at this point. It's tough. I got to remember what age these guys were drafted. Debo might be 24 as well. Or I think he's 24. So it's probably not going to be one of those guys. It's probably going to be a 2020 draft receiver. NFC West. So it's not likely to be the 49ers in my opinion. Rams. Van Jefferson? I don't think so. Could be. I don't like Seattle 49ers or the Rams at this point. It also doesn't have to be a receiver. I've kind of convinced myself it's a receiver. It could be like Trey Lance. Trey Lance kind of fits. But is he 23? He might be. He might. Let's go Trey Lance. We'll eliminate quarterback here pretty quickly. Okay, so it is a quarterback in the NFC North. That's 6'4". Trey Lance is 21. See, I didn't know as a North Dakota State guy if he was there a little bit longer. I know he was just drafted, but 23 is a draftable age, but he's only 21 still. That's crazy. But we know it's a quarterback in the NFC North, so we should be able to get this on 4, I think, easy. It's got to be Justin Fields, no? Kind of has to be, right? NFC North quarterback. It's not Jared Goff because the age doesn't match. Justin Fields could be 23 years old. We know he was a redshirt freshman at Georgia, transferred to Ohio State. He could be 23 years old. He might be a year younger, though. So what else are our options? Bears, Justin Fields, Lions, Jared Goff. Vikings, 6'4". I mean, is that... No, I don't think Kellen Mond is 6'4" in the NFC North. And then the other teams, the Packers. Ooh, is it Jordan Love? Let's throw out Jordan Love. I think he's 6'4". He's going to be at that sweet spot of like 23 years old. Quarterback in the NFC North. I think Jordan Love would be the answer here. And it is. Got it in 4. Probably get it in 4 even with the offensive guess. I mean, maybe not. But Xavier McKinney told us the division, and that's kind of why I guessed quarterback in the first place. But, I mean, what else would I have guessed if I went offense? I don't know. Maybe, let's say I guess Kadarius Toney. And I'm still wrong about the position, right? I might have had the age right, and I would know the same thing. And I'm a Giants fan, so maybe I would guess Kadarius Toney. I think that's definitely viable, but he wears number 89, so that would have been a stupid guess. I still probably get it in 4, though. But I guess we'll go ahead and cut to day 2 if I do this on another day. Guys, day 2. NFL player guessing game, Weddle. Easy mode, hard mode. Not going to explain it again, obviously. But I'm recording this at a time. I don't even want to tell you. It's that late. And if you're like, I got an idea in your head. No, later than that. And my brain's not going to be functioning. I'm going to do the best I can. We're going to go ahead and start. Yesterday... For the easy mode, I had to look it up. Chase Claypool. I mean, there was no way I was going to remember that. I'm just not fully functioning. So, AFC North, I want to switch up the conference and go like NFC West. Let's go with a big young receiver. That's DK Metcalf. I think that makes a lot of sense. And we know he's 24 years old, taller than 6'4", plays in the NFC, is likely a quarterback. Do we have tight ends in here? We don't have tight ends. It's literally just... No, Adam Shaheen is a tight end. Is Rob Gronkowski not on here? Who's another tight end? Kyle Rudolph. Mason. Dude, why is Adam Shaheen on here? I mean, Noah Fant. All right, maybe they're just not active. So it could be a tight end in theory, but the number is less than 14. I'm actually paying attention to that now. It's got to be a quarterback in the NFC that's 24. Surely this is going to be fairly easy to come up with. NFC East. Daniel Jones makes a lot of sense to me. Is he 6'5"? I could see Daniel Jones being 6'5". I surely could. Is he 6'4"? He's definitely not 6'6". I could see him being 6'5". I think Daniel Jones could be the answer here. I think he's also 24. 2019 draft class, same as DK Metcalf. I think that makes a lot of sense. So Daniel Jones is an option. It's not going to be anyone from Washington or Dallas or Philadelphia. So I like Daniel Jones as being the answer here to get it in 2. In the NFC South, it's not going to be anyone on the Panthers. It's not going to be anyone on the Bucks, unless it's Kyle Trask, but that would be kind of a weird one. Is he 24? I think he could be, even though he was just drafted. Is he taller than 6'4"? That I don't know. I think it's probably pretty close. 6'4" is huge. That's the thing. And then we have the Saints. Not going to be anybody on the Saints. And not going to be anybody on the Falcons. So I'm really liking Daniel Jones as the answer. Last one I'll check is the NFC North. Justin Fields, I looked it up yesterday, is 23. So it's not going to be Justin Fields. It's not going to be not Case Keenum. He hasn't been in Minnesota forever. It's not going to be Kirk Cousins or, I think it has to be Daniel Jones, right? Bears, no. Packers, no. Lions, no. And Vikings, no. I think it has to be Daniel Jones. Can I get it in 2? Daniel Jones. It is Daniel Jones. Got it in 2, so that was pretty close. I went with a younger player because I think it would be like really easy if we do end up getting lucky enough for him to be close. And all the signs pointed to a quarterback with the height and with the number especially. Daniel Jones really was the only answer. And I'm happy we got it in 2. That's my new personal best. That's pretty much as good as you can get. Like, yeah, you could get really lucky and get it in 1, but what are the odds of that happening? And is that even skillful? That's just lucky. Switching over to hard mode now. That was an NFC East player. We'll do an AFC West. Let's go with my guy, Nasir Adderley. Safety, he was one of my draft crushes coming out of Delaware. And we know it's an NFC player that likely plays offense, could be special teams, is older than 24 years old, is taller than 6 flat. See, that's like too even of a number. I guess it's like right in the middle of heights you'd expect. Is a number less than 24. So I think it's likely a receiver or a quarterback in the NFC. Probably not going to be 2 quarterbacks, law of averages. So let's go with a receiver in the NFC. Let's do receiver. Mike Evans. I could see Mike Evans being the answer here. Kind of matches up for me. And he's going to be like 29 years old. So I think that's a big jump, which is kind of where I want to be. And Mike Evans wears 13. Let's do Mike Evans. Now, the reason I'm choosing him is he's really tall. So we know it's the NFC, but we already knew that. What's interesting here is we're not on the right side of the ball. Meaning, surely this is a special teamer in the NFC, kicker or punter, that's older than 28, less than number 13. Johnny Hecker. I know he was cut by the Rams, but is he an option? Is that just thrown out a guess too quickly? He's older than 28, but a lot of the special teamers are old. We go Johnny Hecker. So we know it's a special teamer. It's not a punter, meaning this is a kicker. Johnny Hecker's 6'5". I would have guessed he was a little bit shorter than that. We know he's older than 32. Number is not going to be really too helpful to me here, just because I'll be honest, I don't remember a lot of kickers' numbers. But this is a pretty big kicker, like 6 foot. That's pretty big for a kicker, I feel like. in the NFC West or NFC North. Can I even name every kicker in those divisions? I really don't know if I can. Also, it's important to note that I figured Johnny Hekker was still going to be listed with the Rams. I did not try and guess NFC South. To be honest, I did not know he signed with Carolina. So, kind of a wasted guess there, but I didn't mean to. I was going for NFC West. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do this. I really don't. Especially at this time I'm recording. The brain's not functioning so well. NFC East, or I think it's likely NFC West. I mean, it could be North too. I've really screwed this up. I have 10 guesses to get there. Again, I don't know that I can name this player. I really don't. I mean, is Matt Prater a good guess? He's definitely going to fit the age, but the height is the weird thing with Matt Prater, where I don't know if he is taller than 6 foot. I think he could be. Let's go Matt Prater. Okay, so we know it's a kicker who's 37. And Matt Prater's with the Cardinals now. Okay, yeah, this is good information to figure out. So he's only 5'10". NFC North or NFC East. I like going Green Bay here. 37-year-old kicker. I could see Mason Crosby being the answer. All right. Thank God. I was going to say thank God. Thank goodness. Whatever. Glad I got it, period. 5, I think, is the longest it's taken me to get one of these. But, man, thankfully, it was a player that is, like, pretty obvious in terms of kickers. Like, I know a lot of kickers, man, but with the rotation of these guys changing teams every so often, I forgot Matt Prater was on the Cardinals. I didn't realize Johnny Hekker was on the Panthers. This was a little bit wild for me. So, thankfully, he was someone that has been on their team for a while. I knew he's been on the Packers. And, yeah, 6'1", 37 years old, kind of made it a little bit easier as well. Kind of just go through the older guys. But, yeah, excited about getting it. And I'll see you for tomorrow. Maybe we'll do one more day. This could be the final day of NFL Wordle here. Weddle. And what was the last one? That's always the start of this, is where was the last one? I played Law of Averages, so I think it was Daniel Jones, and it was a kicker. It was Mason Crosby. So Daniel Jones was first. As you guys know, easy mode, hard mode. We're going to start with the easy mode, and it was an NFC East quarterback. So let's go with an AFC West. What's a good position to start with? We can kind of cross off like tight end, quarterback, if we guess someone tall enough. So let's go with a receiver who's like 6'2", 6'3". And who's that? A.J. Brown's not quite that big. Not going to be Adam Humphries. Let me find someone that's like 6'2". Now, Allen Robinson is about 6'3", and he's a decent age, 28. So we know he's smaller than 6'2", so it's likely a running back. We know they're bigger than number 1, and so they're a young running back probably in the NFC. Who does that apply to? Could be Saquon. If I just throw out a Saquon Barkley, is it really going to be 2 giants back to back? I think Saquon's an option. Could be a lot of different guys at this point, right? There are a lot of young running backs in the league. That's probably the position where we see the most rotation of players in. So this one's tough to get. I am probably going to go Saquon because he is super, super young. And New York Giant. So that's going to be pretty much everything. It's an NFC East running back. He's 5'11", less than 25 years old. Where's number 26? I was going to go Miles Sanders. I think Miles Sanders is going to be the answer here. Is he 26? I think so. And it is Miles Sanders. I could have got that in 2. But we got it in 3. So I'm not really too mad about that. If I wasn't a Giants fan, do I go with my first thought of Miles Sanders? Probably so. But I end up going with Saquon first. And it led us to the right answer. So can't really be too mad about that one. Got it in 3. We'll go ahead and go to hard mode here and kind of do the same process. So they just keep throwing out NFC players. Surely it will be an AFC player eventually. I'm going to go AFC again. I probably want to start with like a corner or a safety. It could be anybody on defense, really. AFC, let's do someone decently young in the AFC. Who is someone that kind of fits that criteria? Nate Hobbs popped into my head. I don't see why we can't go with him. Young corner for the Raiders. And it is actually a corner. 6'1", is older than 22, plays in the NFC. Now, this is interesting because like a 6'1" corner is kind of big. That's bigger than I thought Nate Hobbs was, by the way. I would have guessed like 5'11". So I chose a dumb number at corner because there's no corner wearing a number in the 40s. Actually, that's not true, but it's a rarity. I should have gone with somebody else. So we know it's an NFC corner who's 6'1". Is Carlton Davis 6'1"? I could go Carlton Davis here. He might be 6'2". Sean Murphy Bunting to me feels like 6 foot. Maybe he's even in the 5s. Let's go Sean Murphy Bunting. Tampa Bay corner. Okay, so he's 6 flat. But this gives us good information. He is 23 years old. Which, I mean, we already knew it was going to be really close to that. It was either going to be 24, 25. I think it's within 2. Anyway, 6'1", plays in the NFC South. And he's 23. Is it J.C. Horn? Let's think of the teams and the options. Could be C.J. Henderson. I think C.J. Henderson's 6'1". Plays for the Panthers. C.J. Henderson's a good option. And I got very lucky to guess cornerback first, of course. Could be J.C. Horn, C.J. Henderson. I like either of those. J.C. Horn, I think, is going to be about 6'1". Maybe he's 6'2", but that's pretty big for a corner. Now, both of them I could see being 23. I think C.J. Henderson's more likely to be 23. However, I want to say he wears a number in the single digits, and I think the same is true of J.C. Horn, but I can't quite remember. Didn't really see C.J. Henderson play much with the Panthers. I can't really remember. So, Falcons, could this be A.J. Terrell? Terrell is like 6'1" or 6'2". Kind of fits the criteria, and he's good. I think he wears number, I wanted to say 8, but I think Kyle Pitts wears 8. What number does A.J. Terrell wear? I really don't know. Could he wear 20? I don't know. A.J. Terrell is an option. Some of these numbers I just don't know off the top of my head. So that's kind of tough. But we know it's either Atlanta, Carolina, or New Orleans. Who on the Saints fits this criteria? It's likely going to be nobody. The only real young corner I can name on the Saints is Paulson Adebo, and I want to say he's smaller than 6'1", for sure. Let's throw out, what number does J.C. Horn wear? I really thought it was a single-digit number, but he only played for such a small amount of time. Let's go C.J. Henderson. Let's see. It's not a Carolina player. Is it A.J. Terrell? It is A.J. Terrell. I couldn't remember what number he wore. C.J. Henderson's 23. I feel like that's a fair answer. He's also 6'1". Like, he fit all the criteria except for the number. What corner wears 15? He surely did not wear 15 with Jacksonville. I thought he wore like 23, I want to say, which we knew wasn't the answer, but I didn't know what he picked in Carolina, especially now where you can pretty much choose any number. Yeah, 15 here with Carolina, 23 with the Jags. But yeah, I think what was the dumber guess was C.J. Henderson, because if they handpick these, they're not going to choose C.J. Henderson. A.J. Terrell is one of the best young corners in the league. It's not going to be C.J. Henderson. It's going to be A.J. Terrell. But yeah, that's my mistake. Should have gone with A.J. Terrell probably. Got it in 4. Not too mad about it. Got really lucky to get cornerback first. And especially getting the height worked as well. We crossed off a lot of corners at that height. And getting the age right was pretty lucky as well. That's why I kind of like to lean towards the extremes. I don't like to guess someone that's like 26 or 27 usually. Just because I feel like we can cross off more, or it's taking a little bit of a bigger chance, I guess, but it pays off, and it pays off big sometimes. You know, I was about to sit down and edit this video together, and I had this thought. Would I rather upload it 5 minutes earlier from not recording this, or make it a couple minutes longer and give you guys another 2 games. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. And I don't know where it started. I don't remember. We're just going to start fresh. Let's go with someone that's like... let's do 6'2". Who's 6'2"? I think Allen Robinson is, but I guessed him before. Let's find someone that's like roughly 6 feet 2 inches tall. Teddy Bridgewater is probably about that. Yeah, let's do Teddy Bridgewater. That's my first guess. So, this is good information. We know it's not an AFC player, isn't a quarterback. He's shorter than 6'2". He wears a number that's bigger than 5, so maybe that's not the best number to start out with. Probably should have picked something in the 20s. Maybe did like a bigger running back like Derrick Henry, but he's like 6'3". So we have information here, but we don't have a ton. It's got to be either a receiver or a running back at that 6'2" height, but like everything's going to be bigger than number 5. So not a great one to start out with, other than the fact that if it was a quarterback, we could get it like pretty easily. Let's go with a running back in the NFC. Let's go with an NFC North running back. Let's go with DeAndre Swift. He's going to be about 5'10". Fits all the other criteria. Oh, I'm just the best, dude. I'm just way better than you. Yeah, that's really, really lucky. It just kind of... He was a good guy to guess because he was super young, which is way different than the 29, so it was going to give me a range. We knew it wasn't going to be a quarterback. I thought he was 5'10", 5'9", but... Yeah, that's really lucky. Why did I choose NFC North? It's because usually I would guess NFC East there every time, and I'm like, I don't want to go Saquon. It was already Miles Sanders. So, DeAndre Swift. That's quite lucky. Let's go to the hard mode. I think that's my first guess in 2, which is nice. I think I'm going to start on defense. It was just an NFC player, which means I usually like to guess AFC as a result, just to mix it up a little bit, and I think the likelihood could be more of getting it. I'm going to go with an AFC. I've guessed a DB like multiple times. Let's go with an AFC defensive lineman. I mean, it's just not going to be Sebastian Joseph Day. Let's go with... It's not going to be like Uchenna Nwosu. Let's go the new Denver Bronco. Let's go Khalil Mack. The sack attack from the silver and black. Ooh, they're going to list him as a linebacker. So it is an AFC player. That's a linebacker. That's shorter than 6'3". So that tells me in almost all likelihood it's an off-ball linebacker in the AFC. So we're likely looking at someone that still has a number in the 50s. AFC linebacker. Very lucky to get linebacker here. Let's think about it. We know it's not the AFC West, so AFC North is a possibility. Any good linebackers in the AFC South? Could be like Rashaan Evans. Could be like Zach Cunningham. Let's go with Zach Cunningham. I don't think he's going to be it, but we'll try it out. So it is the AFC South linebacker. See, I thought he might have been like 6'2". That's kind of where we get some trouble there. But we know he is like 30 or 29 because this is yellow. And Zach Cunningham, I forgot he wears a number in the 40s. All right, so that was not that helpful, but we got the age keyed in on already. All this tells us is we have the right division now. And it's not the Titans. It's unlikely to be a Texans player just because, like, who do they really have? And the guy's going to be decently old, so not the Titans. Jaguars linebacker. I think it's unlikely to be a Jaguars linebacker. Unlikely to be the Texans linebacker. So that just kind of leaves us with one team. So Colts linebacker, that's 29 or 30 is kind of what I'm thinking. Darius Leonard is how old? He might be like 27 though. Go with him anyway in case I'm wrong. He's 26. He was even a little bit younger than I thought. So we know he's like 6 footer, 6'1". Doesn't play on the Colts, so it is going to be a Texans or Jags linebacker. Who do the Texans even have at linebacker, dude? That's the problem. I've been scrolling down, hopefully, hoping for something to kind of jog my memory here. I think Kevin Pierre-Louis. Yep, there you go. It's so tough to think of those teams off the bat. The only reason I got Kevin Pierre-Louis is just scrolling through the names until I found someone that I thought could have checked the box. That one was definitely hard. Like, definitely really hard. If I didn't use the game to my advantage, do I get that? I think I probably ultimately worked to it, but this definitely made it go a lot faster. So, yeah, some of you are going to think I'm cheating for scrolling through what the game provides you, but that's just knowledge how to beat the game. So, that's actually going to do it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.
Taking it back to the house, defensive joke, I'm laughing so loud.